Hello, Project Runway fans. I'm Gold Derby Senior Editor Daniel Montgomery here with my fellow Senior Editor Susan Wloszczyna. We're here to talk about the latest episode of Project Runway, Episode 7, Elegance is the New Black, in which the designers had to create something elegant, which seemed to me like a very vague directive, though at least the Carly Kloss and Brandon Maxwell, when introducing the challenge, gave them something actually specific to do. They were prompted by a random object inside one of the button bags. So at least they had some jumping off point, but it was still a little random to me. It was a flash sale challenge, so this design will be available to purchase online. But alas, probably not. I was going to say not Sonia's since she was eliminated, but I'm just going to say probably not Sonia's because for all we know, she'll win the online Instagram poll because her look I thought was quite wearable and quite good. I did not agree with her elimination for this look. I understood what the judges were saying about her not being imaginative enough. And she did have a certain imaginative thing that she was planning, but didn't have time to execute it and wanted to put out something finished, which I think was a smart instinct. But the judges disagreed and she went home. What did you think about that elimination?
I agree. I think Bishmay should have gone because at least hers was sewn properly. I mean, she never doesn't at least, complete what she does. I mean, but both of them have time issues, right? They always seem to be, in a panic, and that's probably not the best way to make a nice outfit. So they need to edit and do the best they can with the time they have because time is not, endless, at least not on Project Runway. So
yeah,
they have to do it smarter. And yeah, I'm sorry she left because, I didn't like, I think it was Carly. Was it Carly or Nina or Elaine who said the thing about, dressing for an old woman? But thank God for Christian. He left her with a thought saying any woman would look good in that dress, no matter what the age, basically. So thank you for that, because really, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The old lady look, she, enough of the old lady stuff. The internet has gotten on them for saying that. Like, is it bad to make something that would be good for someone of a certain age? I don't think that should be the case, right?
Yeah, and honestly, when Christian said that to her on her way out, saying like I designed for a lot of women and for the red carpet, and any one of them would want to wear your dress, which I thought was nice. And now I'm starting to think, if there was a Christian Siriano save, like there used to be a Tim Gunn save, if Sonia probably would have been saved by that this week.
Yeah,
because I think that was a good look. And I think the judges are I can understand if the judges have a choice between a look that was messy and had too many ideas going on, but was okay, and a dress that was good, but too basic, then I can understand sending the basic look home. But so many times this season, or at least 2 or 3 times this season so far, there's been a complete train wreck of a look that got to stay while a basic look was sent home. And I'm like thinking, no, if you execute basic okay, then send the train wreck home, because it's not fair.
That was the first challenge. It set the tone for the whole season because, Frankie stayed another day and didn't do, I mean, she probably did worse than the first ones. No,
yeah.
First one.
No, the first one was the
it's coming back in my head and I'm having nightmares.
And
she could have had potential despite her attitude, but she wasn't as bad as Nadine. So
no, not at all.
Yes.
Yeah, but then it happened again, sort of with the survival wear challenge with the unconventional materials. They sort of did the same thing where COVID had the complete train wreck of a look, and Afa had a look that they thought was just kind of inadequate. And I can understand, like, yeah, it wasn't covering much, but that model wasn't the only one who wasn't covered very much. So but that was a competent look, and COVID's that week wasn't, but COVID was spared. And this week, I thought compared to that, Bishmay was okay. Like I did think it had redeeming qualities, but
that print was awful. And the only reason he picked it, and he didn't say this, but the hand was blue in that thingy that they got,
yeah.
and that's why he picked that. And there had to be something more appropriate. That is something you just throw on and put a suit on and go to work, that print. It's not anything elegant about it. Plus, it was so much, they tend to do this. They put so much more fabric than they need around a skinny model's body.
Yeah, it did look like she was being really choked up top a little bit. That's why, because when I first saw it going down the runway, I liked the bottom of it better than the top, and then they showed it again, as it was getting critiques, and then when they were inspecting it closer up, and I could see the problems with the bottom, how like kind of lopsided it was, and how it was asymmetrical, but not really in any kind of way that was doing anything flattering. So, on closer inspection, it definitely didn't work as well as I thought it did, but I didn't think it was terrible.
Yeah. I would ding Renee for one thing. Sneakers weren't helping the matter. The DJ thing, and why she chose headphones. I guess she liked the purple, but then...
Sonia, you mean.
Sonia, yeah. And for some reason, why she put those sneakers on her model, it just wasn't fooling anyone. It was hip. She should have just stuck with something, and maybe come up with something other than a DJ persona to, put on the model. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if she had tried, actually, I don't think, I was gonna say I think if she tried to do the kimono and failed, at least the judges would give her credit for something interesting than dinging her for something that was finished but bland. But I actually think what did her in wasn't so much the dress, but the fact that this was the second time in the bottom two for her and she hadn't had any high scores. I think Bishmay, more than any kind of potential they think he might have had based on this look, he was spared, I think, because they remember his potential from when he won the streetwear challenge.
Yeah.
So I think they gave, and that's happened a lot this season where, if you've won a challenge and you screw up, or if you've had high scores and you screw up, they'll give you a break over someone who has never been in the top.
Yeah.
And if you've been in the bottom twice, you're gone the next time. Like that happened to COVID, 3 strikes and he was out, and Rakan, 3 strikes and he was out. So they definitely take into account, based on the results so far, it seems like they take into account the past performance.
Well, let's applaud Jamall, because finally one of them listened to Christian and he won. And maybe that should be a lesson, and they won't learn it, but maybe it should be a lesson to others. He has your back. He's not, trying to boss you around. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to help you figure out what the heck you're doing for the challenge. And he gave him license to drape and do something beyond just playing with Muslim until you have no time left, so you can't sew the real garment. And it worked out to his advantage. So hopefully, that will, give him some confidence to just trust his instincts and not overthink everything.
Yeah. And it's interesting that
too. He picked out just the right print, and it wasn't necessarily masculine like we were talking about before. It's just, it just suited, that print was, it served to be elegant because it wasn't too much, craziness going on. It was geometrical in itself too. And then I guess, I kind of like Layla's thing, but they probably have a point that when you looked at that fabric, it was kind of not smooth. It didn't have a heft to it enough, and the design was cool, and it reflected what she saw in that thing head.
Yeah. I liked Leela's look. I even liked the toilet paper over one shoulder.
Oh, that's so Nina to call something toilet paper, and it obviously wasn't. It looked fine.
Yeah.
Isn't offensive.
I was really worried about Leela at the beginning of the episode, because she's like, oh, this fabric is really difficult and I don't know if I know how to work with it. And I was like, oh, everyone makes that mistake. Why are you doing the fabric thing? A fabric you don't know how to use. But it turned out well. I mean, when the judges inspected it closer, they had serious problems with how it sort of its lack of polish and finish in certain places. But I loved the impact it had. I loved the geometric lines. I loved the shape on the hip. It was really interesting.
I don't like when they add to the hips, because I just don't think most people need that. But if you're a model, I guess, and you have no butt at all, then I think it's fine.
Most of the models on Project Runway could do with extra hip. They're not getting too much of it. Speaking of which, we should talk about yet another sort of model controversy. Poor Kate, and I want her to be getting a raise on this show, or a hefty bonus at the end of the season from what these designers put that poor woman through. Tessa's putting down curvy models at the beginning of the show, saying it's like, oh, she didn't care about the design inspiration, that she was one of the last people to choose. She cared that she was stuck with a curvier model because there were only 2 left. And the last picked, by default, ended up going to Gareth Sparrow, and it was Kate, who was the same woman that Frankie tried to cram into that awful blue bodysuit in the first episode. She was the woman who Nadine just berated about not being able to walk and being too fat to wear her clothes, basically. And this poor, she was the one who, in the video game challenge, who Jamall had hanging out of this suit jacket. And it's like, this poor woman can't catch a break. And it's not because of her body. It is because these designers only seem to know a woman who is shaped who is 18 to 30 years old and shaped like a stick. That is literally the only thing they know how to put clothes on.
Now, some of them. I wish Hester with her pasties would have taken Kate, because at least she'd have a place to put them on. But Hester had the skinniest girl. She didn't have even breasts, it looked like, at least from what she did with her top. So that was bizarre. And I'm telling you, she might have had immunity, but that gave her a mark on her back, because the best thing to do is to have immunity and do it even better than before, and take a risk. This wasn't a risk. This was just some twisted idea, and she just wanted to do it because she was stubborn and she wanted to do it. And they weren't even cute pasties. If she had done something with, the whole breast, some kind of something there, and not pasties, because if you're not going to have tassels, they're no good anyway.
or as Brandon called them, they were 2 cabinet fortune cookies. My problem with
wrong, except there was no fortune in there. They were pretty empty, but she glued them on. It's like
directly onto her skin. Yeah.
I hope that woman took pains to do it.
She deserves a bonus too this week. That poor model. Yeah. I think I was sort of with Christian when Hester was first telling him her idea was like, oh, I'm gonna make pasties elegant. I was kind of like, okay, I liked the idea if she was gonna take that somewhere. The problem is that all it was a sheer top and just the 2 things just stuck on her chest. There was nothing. There was no idea there. She didn't use them in any way that kind of made them into something elegant. She just stuck them there.
And the model, when they asked her how do you feel about this, she goes, okay. She didn't really want to say what she thought. But
you know what it kind of reminded me of? And it could have been good if she had done more with the top than just the pasties. Yeah. And it reminded me a little bit of Halle Berry's Oscar-winning dress, where it had a sheer kind of patterned top and this big flowing skirt at the bottom. It reminded me of that. It had a similar look with that sheer top, but there was actual detailing on Halle Berry's look, and it didn't look just like a nude woman with tassels on her chest.
But if you're going to do something with breasts being a showcase thing, I mean, get a model with breasts. I don't know. But that's our Hester, and yeah, you know.
But yeah, I agree with you that she does have a mark on her back now, because you know, as I said, I think the judges will give you the benefit of the doubt if you've done well before and you don't have a history of bad designs. But this gave them a reason that if she missteps again next week, they could send her home.
Yeah.
If she had been a little bit not conservative, because she's Hester, and we don't want her to do conservative. We want her to do her. We want her to be her wild, kooky, eccentric self. We just want it to have a more interesting idea than that.
But, you know, I think too, because it was a flash sale, there's only going to be one more. I forget what episode it is, but I think, you know, it was a waste for her, you know, to do that right now, you know.
Oh, you think that's not going to win the Instagram challenge?
No, I don't think. Well, there wouldn't be much to buy, would there?
No. They shouldn't charge very much for that.
They want to make money on that website, so yeah. But I don't know. It looked like in the preview she was a little bit going off the deep end again. Whatever flashed by that she was making kind of made me flinch a bit. So I erased it by now, and then we'll see it again, I'm sure. But
yeah, we'll definitely see that again. I'm kind of concerned for her. I don't know what to think about these final 9. Do you have what is your opinion on who's going to win at this point, given what you've seen? Like, is Jamall the front runner now?
Jamall has to have more than one good day, so we'll see. I mean, he needs to keep up his confidence, and he doesn't look young, but he's only like 23. So
yeah, he looks older than he is.
But he thinks he doesn't have the skill set yet to know what he should do with what they give them initially. You know, it's like he just hasn't had that kind of, you know, experience yet, I guess.
Yeah. And it's interesting because he sort of has the opposite problem that a lot of designers have on the show, where he came into this challenge and like they were suggesting to him, like, oh, drape something, don't get away from the muslin and all this kind of pre-planning and pre-planning and post-pre-planning and just like drape something and see how it goes. And usually the people are good at draping, but they're not good at, you know, sewing or construction. But he was the opposite. He's like, he didn't even seem to think about draping as a real option for him.
Yeah. So
and when he started doing it, it's like, oh, I like how that works. Oh, you mean I can make a thing without drawing tons of like schematics for it first?
But we both agreed somebody else should have won.
Yes. I would. Yeah, we both agreed. I believe we both would have picked Sebastian, who was safe. He wasn't even in the top 3, which disappointed me. I thought, and honestly, I think Mimi, like as bad as Kate has been treated this season, Mimi has been such a great muse for everyone.
Yeah.
And
I mean, so picked her. I mean, he likes her. So because he did great with her last week. So she knows how to sell it. So yeah, and that's been wonderful to see, because, you know, I don't think anybody else, you know, treated her any way differently than anyone else. So in fact, she's better than most of them. And he just they have, you know, a mind meld. I think they're good together. So hopefully he continues to get them. But it's funny because, you know, in the old days, I don't know when they stopped having blind runways. Although you always kind of figured they knew who did what at a certain
like as soon, like even if you did, for instance, you know, Garrow, like as soon as that look runs back, walks back the other way, and you could see the corseting tied in the back, it's like, oh, that's Garrow.
Hester, there's no question.
This look was nothing like Hester has done before, but as soon as it came out, I think you could look at that. It's like no one would have done that but Hester. No one would have done that but Hester.
No. But and then it was Tessa, and who else was safe?
The safe ones were Sebastian, Tessa, Garrow, and Renee were the safe ones.
See, I think you asked me, you know, who would be ahead. I still think Garrow and Sebastian, even though Sebastian had a few problems recently with his Aladdin look and all that. I think, I do think both of them are probably the most talented, but also the most confident in what they know themselves. You can tell. Yeah.
And they can construct really well, really quickly.
Yeah. But I think it might come down to the fact that, you know, Garo keeps making a corset. And I mean, they haven't said anything yet, but it's like, really try something else because every woman wants to wear a corset. And Mimi has a very small waist, so it helps with that. But, you know, but he made it work for Kate, so good for him. I just think the skirt was a little short for her. It didn't really flatter her as much as, you know, the top. But at least the
girls were supported.
Yes, thank you. Looking for a better term. But yeah, this was okay. But like, I don't like when they have these ephemeral things. Elegance, that can be very subjective.
It could mean anything. Yeah, I was not a fan of the theme. I thought, and maybe they chose sort of a general theme because it was going to be a flash sale challenge, so you didn't want something super specific like make a superhero, because no one's going to buy that for their everyday.
Well, you would, but
right, yeah,
Mr. Cosplay, but not me. But no, and I used to watch Superman back when I was young. I would put a towel on my back. So I guess that was not called cosplay, but that's what we were doing. And jump off the couch and make your parents mad. So
it was the original
old habit. You just Nick gave it a new name.
Well, thank you so much, Susan, for joining me, and thank you everyone out there for watching and listening to us. Click like and subscribe to this video if you like what you saw, or even if you didn't, why not? And you can see the rest of our videos in our Project Runway playlist in our Gold Derby YouTube channel. And to make your predictions every week for Project Runway, you can visit goldderby.com, sign in, sign up, visit our prediction center. We have predictions every week for who will be eliminated, who will win the challenge, and it's so hard to predict. I think our season-long highest score has gotten like 30% right, because like they say, in fashion, one day you're in, the next you're out, and it's hard to tell who it's going to be from week to week. But with that, we hope we'll see you again next week. Thank you very much for joining us.